This is Auretha, Soul Stylist, and I am here to give a short report about the Leo new moon today. I've been picking up all kinds of interesting information from different sources about why the new moon in Leo is a big deal. So I help people with their visibility, and sometimes that correlates to their brand, meaning how they show up in business or on social media. Pretty much I want to help people be authentic. And so I wanted to share about Leo, why Leo, a new moon in Leo is a big deal. So new moons are about setting intention and getting clear about what you want to create, which for some of us creative people is like, oh, there's so many options. So the Leo is a big energy player. Leos are not afraid to take center stage. So maybe in your life you are really not comfortable with being on stage, you're not comfortable with being seen. This new moon today and tonight would be a wonderful time to set your intentions. So it actually occurred at 4:44, where I'm a little behind that. I was wanting to get this done before then, but stuff got exciting. So it's really about you being willing to take the stage in your life. Now, here's the thing. There are different size stages, right? You've gone to a little local bar and the stage is like there's a teeny tiny stage. It's like 4 or 6 feet across. And then you have your stages at amphitheaters that are, huge and can fit a whole, like Broadway. So for you, this Leo new moon can translate to how big of a stage am I willing to be seen on? And I think I talked about this with some people. We have so much judgment and comparison that, man, I'm thinking about this as this applies to preachers in tiny churches, how many times it would be so great if these small churches would just team up and share their congregation in a nicer building instead of all these teeny tiny little preachers in tiny little churches with 6 people that come. But some people just they don't want to share the stage. They want to be their own big fish in a small pond. And that's fine. I just don't always think it's the most effective. So I want you to think about, how big is the stage that you're willing to be seen on? So for me, what I was noticing was coming into this. So let's just remove judgment about, that being a small stage or a large stage person. If we just remove the judgment around a bigger stage is better, okay? Because sometimes if your talent is not to that level, a bigger stage is not better. You lose face in front of more people. Let's say a comedian, you go on a huge stage, tons and thousands of people, and you're not really that good at your craft yet, and you don't know how to really have power over that crowd, then a smaller stage is going to be better for you as you build your confidence, right? So one of the factors that I've been noticing is in my life, I've been healing my adrenal exhaustion that I had from a couple years ago when I moved cross country. I was just so exhausted. I couldn't even pack my boxes. I had to have friends pack my boxes. And so I've noticed that as I've been healing myself here in a tiny little town in Florida that I moved to, I've been noticing, wow, I'm not really ready I wanted to be doing speaking engagements. And I thought, man, I don't really even have the energy to drive an hour and go do a speaking engagement and then drive an hour back. And I just started noticing, wow, I'm not really up for this physically. So I just wanted to mention to you that's one factor. The second factor is emotionally. Sometimes people pick up energy from bigger crowds or lots of people, and they really are just comfortable speaking to small groups or doing small workshops. That's totally a great place to start, to find 6 or 10 or 12 people that are really into what you're doing, really supportive of you, and start there. And then build your confidence, build your audience. So during this Leo new moon, what I'd like to encourage you to do is to set intention for the size of stage that you feel comfortable with, to get clear about that. Maybe your stage is like I'm doing right now, a YouTube channel. I clearly have the gift of gab. I have clear things that I want to say, and I almost held a workshop tonight, but I didn't quite have enough people that were interested because I kind of came up with it last minute. And it was just like, you know what? My time would be better served reaching out to a larger audience. So I really prefer being able to be spontaneous. When I'm inspired to speak something and share something, I get it from spirit, and I'm just able to record it right on my camera, no fancy equipment needed, and just upload that booger to YouTube. So that's what works for me. For me, ease is a big factor. I like being authentic. That's really important to me. I'm not a perfectionist. If I was, I would be editing and getting footers and headers and making it all link up and blah, blah, blah. And someday maybe that will happen when I outsource for people to do that. But right now I'm just going just lowbrow, just like, hey, I'm going to throw a video up, but I have something important to say, and then I can share it across YouTube, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Put it on my blog, share it with my list. So think about who you want to be talking to. If you're a Leo, Leos are all about being on stage, enjoying the attention. Who do you want to have your attention? Is it maybe just your kids and your partner, or your family, extending a little bit more out? Is it just your friends on Facebook? Like, how many people do you really want to be talking to about what you're doing? So that's something that I want you to think about as far as intentions. Now, I wanted to just read you something that a friend of mine named Michelle, and I'm going to have to put this underneath in the comment section because I can't think of her name at this exact second. But she talked about the Leo new moon today, August 2nd, 2016, being about you're too much. So people who have gotten that message, you're too much, getting healing for that. Well, I've certainly got that message. I'm sure many other extroverted people have also gotten that messages. Class clowns, coaches, healers, comedians, actors, singers, dancers, people who just like to joke around and have a good time. You've probably been encouraged, to like, shh, I got that from my dad a lot. Like, shh, quiet. Don't ruffle the feathers. Don't make too much noise. So we've, some of us need a lot of healing from that. Some of us got therapy, some are getting therapy, some of us is healing ourselves. So, we have gotten the message that we're too big, we're too much. Well, guess what, honey? There's lots of people who love you and lots of people who are encouraged by what you have to say. And your family may not appreciate you, but the rest of us really do. So one of those cool things that I want to say about YouTube that I appreciate is I look at so many different channels, and what I love about them is how everybody expresses themselves completely differently. Like, you're seeing my background, office and books and stuff right now, and I'm still figuring out like where I like to take videos in the house and what works the best with the best lighting, yada yada. Some people are just really funny. They have amazing setups. They have pretty crystals. Some people are out in nature all the time, and you hear the wind in their sound, and they don't seem to care about that, which that kind of drives me crazy. So some people have really, really long videos. Some people have really, really short videos. So think about your style as far as how much do you like to say? Sometimes I see people's messages on Facebook and I'm like, oh my God, they just wrote a book. When I'm scrolling through Facebook, I don't want to like read keep scrolling down, and you're just not going to keep my attention. That's just me. And I am a writer, but I like to get to the point. And then, what I would say in that is encapsulate that in a paragraph or two, and then put a hyperlink to your blog, and then post the whole thing on your blog so people who are really interested can just pop right over in there. That builds your blog, right? So, so if you're really long-winded, that's something you might want to consider when you write or when you speak. So the other thing is that this new moon is also about being acknowledged for your brilliance. Now, some people use the word brilliance. Some people use the word genius. I use the work of Dr. Gay Hendricks, so we talk about genius. Brilliance, genius. What are you better at than other people are? So for me, I have, it looks like 2 clients flying in the next 2 weeks into a big city, Jacksonville, Florida, near me, that has great shopping. And, they're flying in with me because they're just like, I don't have a wardrobe and I want to look fantastic. So I get to pull on my soul stylist hat, and I know this one girl. I've known her forever. She's beautiful and tall and blonde and so precious, because she's like, I go into stores and I get overwhelmed. So I'm just going to go in there and she's not even going to be in the store with me. I'm just going to go do all of her shopping, load it up into a fitting room, call her, have her come in, try on the clothes. We'll decide what to keep. Bada bing, bada boom. 3 hours later, she's going to have a chunk of wardrobe. We're going to do that 3-hour slot a couple times over a couple days. And she's going to be able to go home with a ton of beautiful clothes that she likes, that are her style, because I'm going to help her find that. So that's one of my brilliant things that I do. That's one of my geniuses. And I love helping people find their own style. I love helping people find their own expression. So this new moon in Leo is of particular interest to me, because I love to help people take the stage to and for her, she's an introvert. She's probably never going to be on a stage. But every day that she steps out in beautiful clothing, she said, I'm going to feel confident. I'm going to feel she didn't say powerful. I said powerful. But when you don't have to worry about what you're wearing, if it looks good on you or if you like it, that solves a whole big energy leak, and you're able to go into your day feeling like, oh my gosh, I just feel so good, and this is so comfortable. It's so me. I love it. People, it makes me happy. So it's a big vibration shifter. So the neat thing is that when we take a look at what our stage and how big we want it to be, whether it's just our own personal life or we want to have an audience and speak to people, another thing that we want to look at is the size of the audience that we're looking for. So Michelle Lessard, I think is how you say it. Michelle Grace Lessard, I believe. She's an astrologer, and she's out of Utah, and I love her. You can find her on my Facebook page. And if you private message me at Auretha Soul Stylist, I'll get her contact information to you, because she does these great podcasts or webcasts about all of these moons. But she she did this exercise where you kind of did the white bubble and extended your vibe out. And man, if mine didn't go an hour to the beach and an hour north and an hour south and an hour I extended really big, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly the areas that I want to reach with my business and target through, magazine articles, styling that I do, life coaching, healing. I thought these are all the places my meditation led me exactly where I want to be doing business anyway. And I want to be speaking to a lot of groups of women and a lot of groups of business people about visibility and branding. So just notice, where do you want to be speaking? Where do you want to be traveling to? Do you want to be on a plane all the time traveling internationally? That is not my idea of a good time. That's a lot of work, a lot of travel, a lot of recovery. I wouldn't mind doing that 4 times a year, 6 times a year. But so think about that as far as your visibility, you taking the stage. How wide of an audience do you want to be acknowledged for your brilliance? Then the other thing that this new moon is also talking about is creativity, painting, writing, creative action. How am I amping up my ability to be creative? And then she said, how have I dumbed myself down to relate to you? And I've read a ton of people's different things on this new moon, but I think that's a really juicy question, because taking our stage, if we really have to be willing to stand authentically for what we're about. I'm about style, but soul style. And this is why, because it has to be authentic. I don't want to just be with the newest trend, or my clients to just be like, oh, they've got the trendiest thing, and then next year they can't wear it, or they never really liked it wasn't them. I want their inner to match their outer, and their outer to match their inner. That's what turns me on. I'm intuitive. I'm about the deep stuff. So superficial fashion is not my style. I'm all about the juicy warmth of seeing someone express themselves and how beautiful that is. So if I pretend that my audience is just style people and fashionistas, then I'm going to be dumbing down and cutting off half of who I am, because I'm not going to talk about spiritual stuff to those people, because they're going to be like, oh my God, those Prada shoes. I couldn't wait for the next pair to come out the next spring. They're only, blah, 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 $1,500 or however expensive. That's what makes those people happy. No judgment. But spending $1,500 on a pair of shoes is not this is what makes my life complete. Mine would be like, wow, finding the most beautiful shoes that really match me. And if they happen to be $1,500, well, then I'm gonna find a way to make that happen, because that is gonna make me feel awesome. So I want to help, for me and for other people, to help with an internal reason for doing everything that we do, that it matches our soul. And so, no judgment on spending a lot of money on purses or shoes or whatever, but there are many people like me where we might want to spend that money on something else. So, like maybe for me, snorkeling and Tahiti, something like that, like a lot of beauty all in front of my eyeballs and just relaxing and being in nature. That would be more of a peak experience for me than purchasing an expensive, really super expensive pair of shoes. So again, it's really up to you. So this visibility piece is really just all about you and what you want. Okay. So you can read a ton of different blogs on the new moon today, but it is about setting your intention. It is about being visible. It is about taking the stage in your life. It is about it being acknowledged for your brilliance. It's also about play, creativity, being a kid, having fun. I'm trying to integrate that more in my life. So anyway, and how you set an intention, you can write it down on paper. You just think, okay, what do I want to create more of in my life? I'm setting an intention to create more of this. It's a deliberate act of focusing your energy on almost like putting in an order at a restaurant, or an order for t-shirts or business cards. Like, what do I want to say? What do I want to be seen for? And oh, by the way, like what I'm wearing, color. I love color. I'm a color whore. I love it. And I like distinctive. I don't like to look like anybody else. And so that's one of the things that I'm known for. So just think about, what are the things that I want to say about myself as I take the stage? How big do I want my stage to be? What do I want my lifestyle to look like? How big do I want my audience? Now, for me, I don't have to travel, and I could have a huge YouTube audience someday. Speaking of which, like and share this video if you like it. Thank you. So anyway, you can get a hold of me at auretha@gmail.com. Auretha@gmail or auretha.com. And my name is spelled a little differently. It's AURETHA.com. So it's like Aretha Franklin, only has a U in it. Like Aura. So thanks for listening. I hope you will take the time to do a new moon meditation of planting the seeds. New moons are all about planting the seeds of what we want to grow. So God bless you and be fabulous. Thanks.